Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds in the studio. It's Thursday. World Cup resumes this afternoon. Morocco's going to have a very tough test against a very, very good French team.
It is, and the French team is favored by many to win the whole World Cup. But we'll see. This is, of course, the quarterfinal round, and it's a knockout round, of course. This is a little strange because you're coming off an off day, and to my knowledge, this is the first off day since this whole tournament started back in the middle part of June. So here we are into the quarterfinal round, and it's France versus Morocco. They're playing today at Boston Stadium. Boston Stadium, folks, is where the New England Patriots play in Foxborough. They changed it. They've taken the city's name and put it there for the World Cup. It'll go back to Gillette Stadium after this. So it's France versus Morocco, another match coming up tomorrow, and then two on Saturday, down to the semifinals, and then the championship, which will be a week from Sunday.
It's been a blast watching this. I know that I was on vacation for part of it, and that helped being able to watch 3 or 4 matches a day. But I tell you what, man, I love it. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them are over the pond playing the Scottish Open this weekend. Where are we at right now?
Well, Scottish Open by PGA standards isn't really a huge payday for the pros, but it is an excellent warm-up to the British Open, which is next weekend. Winner of the Scottish Open, there's nothing to sneeze at, wins $1,620,000, but when you're used to one of the big ones where they win $4 million, that's a little bit different. Anyway, the leaders are mostly players from the European Tour at the moment. Patrick Cantlay is the closest American. He is 5 under par through 13 holes. Then you have the likes of Max McCarty, who is in there at 4 under par. Kim and Koepka and Kitayama and Spahn, all very much in the hunt. Rory McIlroy is 3 under par after 12 holes. So the Scottish Open continues. Round 1 today, round 2 coming up tomorrow.
I know you've been following Wimbledon pretty closely. Where are we at with that right now?
The ladies' semifinals are today. And Coco Gauff will play against Karolina Muchova. That will be one of the matchups. The other is Marta Kostyuk. She is from the Ukraine, against Linda Noskova. So, indeed, that's the ladies' semifinals. They play their championship on Saturday at Wimbledon. Now, the men's semifinals coming up tomorrow. Alexander Zverev, who is really the 6'7" kid and a great player. He's a German, has a Russian name, but he's German. And he is playing a very interesting individual, a guy, this is tomorrow, incidentally, Arthur Furry. Arthur Furry is a British wild card player. Wild card players never get this far in the tournament, yet this kid has. Born in France, raised in Great Britain, but played his college golf, or tennis, I should say, at Stanford. And he was an All-American at Stanford. Arthur Furry, who is 5'10", will play the 6'7" Alexander Zverev tomorrow. That'll be tough. The other one, of course, is the one that I'm especially interested in, a matchup of champions. Jannik Sinner, who is the defending Wimbledon champion, against the 24-time Grand Slam champion and 7-time Wimbledon winner Novak Djokovic, 39 years old. Let's hear it for those old gray-haired guys. Come on.
Well, beyond that, before you got into that, you mentioned the size difference between those two players, and you being a tall guy and playing tennis most of your life, does that really have, I mean, I know it's all about quickness, agility, stuff like that, but does the height difference make a difference?
It does, in my opinion, because your serve is so high when it comes in there.
You get a little bit of extra room.
A shorter
to get some
guy
speed.
has a bit of a difficult time trying to handle that. But this kid, Furry, who's 5'10", he's done it. He's been able to get through it.
Yeah, and the reach. St. Louis Cardinals are in a series with the Brewers, and up until yesterday, it looked like Milwaukee was just going to hand them, but Cardinals said no, not yet. We got at least one out of this whole thing,
and they'll play again tonight.
Yep.
That'll conclude the series. This series, of course, they'll play again later on in the season. Cardinals did win last night, 5-1, broke a 4-game losing streak, and Alec Burleson and Mike McGreevy were the keys. Burleson had 3 of the 5 RBIs, and McGreevy pitched 6 1/3 innings and shut down a very good Milwaukee Brewers attack. So a win, of course, it's going to happen. This is Major League Baseball. 5-1, Cardinals get the win. Cardinals are now 9.5 games out of first place, but still very much in the wild card hunt.
Royals, in my opinion, are facing a team just like they are. The only difference is the Mets have spent a lot of money, and there's really not a whole lot to show for it. But Royals, hopefully, I was hoping they could get a win. They were tied for most of the game last night, and then pretty much late in the game, Mets came out and scored some runs.
Actually, these are two of the biggest disappointments in Major League Baseball. I thought that Kansas City would have a really good year this year, and it has not developed that way. And the New York Mets, as you pointed out, one of the highest payrolls. I think it's third in Major League Baseball, if I'm not mistaken. And they have completely collapsed. But they did win last night through some cold water on the young man who was 12 for 12 at one time. And the Mets get a win by a score of 6-2. Now, the Springfield Cardinals did play last night in Tulsa, and Tulsa scores 3 runs in the 8th inning and wins it 7-3 over the Springbirds. And this is despite the fact that Tulsa committed 4 errors in the game. And that's not good news for the Dodgers. Those are young Dodgers players in there, and commit 4 errors like that, not healthy, but a win's a win.
Not healthy, but doesn't matter to L.A. They'll just pay someone else to come in and spend another $500 million. I know you got your big old dusty book of facts in here, so what's the rub? What happened on this day in history?
It's 24 years ago. 24 years ago, the All-Star Game was being played just very much as it will be next week in Philadelphia. Only this All-Star Game was at Miller Park in Milwaukee. And you may, if it jogged the memory a little bit, might remember this. The game ended in a tie, 7-7, and that's because both sides ran out of available pitchers. When this was presented to the commissioner at the time, Bud Selig, he said, okay, 7-7, it is an exhibition, we'll end it in a tie. And then a couple days later, Commissioner Selig said, we're going to change things a little bit and make it a little bit more competitive to where the winning league will get home field advantage in the World Series. Okay, that was debated quite a bit. It did last for several years, but now it has been changed again. So that little scheme by the commissioner did not last. But nonetheless, the game ended that way in a 7-7 tie, and the ruling was in effect. It is not now the World Series home field advantage is decided by the way it should be, the best record.
Agreed. Ned, have a wonderful day. Stay dry, and I will see you mañana.